Hello everybody and welcome back to the THROSTLE cast and to an episode I've not really done one in quite a while, to be frank. And there has been some good results, to talk about. The Liverpool result, that was quite enjoyable, the City result. But I decided, I wanted to bring it after Wolves, and I thought to do it after the West Ham game. And you've got to say, it looks like we're starting to turn a corner into some better form. Now let's talk about the Wolves game to start this off, but before, can I ask you to subscribe? We are going for 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We're 27 away? We can do this. We probably got 27 subscribers last year. So if you're not subscribed, go down and click the red button. It's greatly appreciated. And let's get on with the podcast. So Wolverhampton Wanderers away. Now, I came into this with not a very high expectation. I thought we would probably lose. I was confident we wouldn't be thrashed, as Wolves haven't scored a lot of goals. Unlike Leeds and Arsenal and Villa, who thrashed us before, they were scoring goals against other sides. So I wasn't expecting a thrashing, but I was certainly not expecting the win we got, and I thought every single one of the players played well. Even people that have been a bit out of form recently, Sawyers, Bartley, I think Button did really well, to come in. I think maybe Johnston might have potentially saved one of those shots, but that would be one of Johnston's really good saves that he occasionally, that he makes. We see quite a bit, like the one against Liverpool. It would have been one of those really good saves Johnston makes. We started off the game very well, winning a penalty. Bit of controversy. It's definitely a foul. Was it over the line? I think it's just. I'm probably biased, but I think it's just a penalty. Just a penalty rather than a free kick. It's so close. It is so close to just being a free kick. I mean, we could have scored that anyway. It was in a similar position that Pereira scored his free kick against Bristol City. Then we went 1-0 ahead. We had some more chances. Robinson missed a few. I don't know how to describe the chance he got, but stretching chances basically. Actually, I think he missed one before the penalty. And then Wolves scored. We were coming under a bit of pressure before that, but then Wolves scored and we collapsed. And that's something that you really don't want to see. And it's not unfamiliar for us, is it? We've collapsed against Leeds, I think. I think we were okay until Sawyers scored the own goal. Not sure if you would say we collapsed against Arsenal. We collapsed against Palace, collapsed against Everton. We do collapse. The one good thing about Chelsea, when we went from 3-0 to 3-all, I felt the goals were very well worked from Chelsea, and we didn't just once one went in, they did not just all fly into the back of the net. But then we came out really, really well, and similar to West Ham, except West Ham we didn't manage to sustain it. We got a few goals, very good throw-in from to Bartley to enter to Ajayi, who scored a good looping header. And then we got another penalty, and I think Robinson might have scored for 1-1 if Bolly gave away the first penalty. It was Cody, if Cody didn't bring him down. So, I think relatively it was a good game. We did come under pressure at the end. I was feeling very nervous and very, very, very sick at the end. I was feeling, just thinking, just please end the game. But we came through, and I think we did a really good job. Next up, just going to be talking about the West Ham game. Now, coming into this one, I'm not going to lie, I was expecting a loss. I thought we might get a draw, but they're in a good form. We started off the game, okay, it was fairly even, then we gave away just a stupid goal. Grosicki should be probably following Kufal, and Sawyers should be following Bowen for me, And also the cross, should the cross have even come in, we should have been marked, and Ajayi gave the ball away. So Phil absolutely filled to the rim with mistakes. And then, again, like Wolves, we came out really well, and Pereira scored probably, you know, I'm sure I can guarantee it. In about 5 or 6 years' times, we will be watching compilations of Mateus Pereira. Maybe he'll still be at the club, but that's going to be one of his goal in a compilation that you see on YouTube soon, isn't it? Along with the QPR, Everton, the Cardiff goal, the Bristol City goal. Which is your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. Because my favourite is the Everton free kick, but I think that West Ham one's up there, and I really like the Bristol City kick and the car. I like all of Pereira's goals. I never not enjoy a West Brom goal, but I think the Everton free kick is my favourite Pereira goal. Anyway, I'm going off track. We did have some more chances after the Pereira goal. And then we kind of just seemed to fade away, and West Ham then started to dominate, and we fell asleep from a free kick, and you know we were starting to crumble, and they scored. It was a good finish from Antonio, but it still just felt like really sloppy defending. Although I couldn't watch it, and there wasn't somebody I thought that's definitely your fault for that goal. I think it was just it just didn't feel like a good goal to concede. For Wolves' goals, I wasn't happy to concede, but at least that was some nice play between the two players. You know, some of Leeds' goals, you just thought, well, that's a really good finish. Okay, we probably should be defending it better, but at least he scored a really good finish. The West Ham goals today, yesterday, they just felt really poor and just things you can't be conceding at this level. We've beaten them 1-0 in the FA Cup last year. And okay, they've improved, and that's the FA Cup, so they're going to be probably playing a weaker side. I think they were playing a bit of a weaker side, not their third side, not the under-12s, or the under 18s more like. You know, it was still a good side. It wasn't full Liverpool, what they have done in the FA Cup. But I'm disappointed with the result, but after some games this season, I've just thought, well, we haven't got a hope in hell of staying up after that. Like, the Villa game, the Leeds game, the Arsenal game, well, I thought we need improvements, but you just felt, really, that just screams we're getting relegated this year. The West Ham game just felt like it just felt like back in the day when we were a smaller side and we'd lose to a top 10 side, you know, like Everton, when they were having their good years. We had a really good year, and we were up in 8th, and Everton put 4 past us. You know, in kind of a game that would decide, could we challenge for that 7th place that they were in? You know, we'd often just lose to Southampton 3-0. If anything, that was a better performance than we put against those sides when we were an established Premier League side. And West Ham are currently in 17th, and I think it might just be Aston Villa that can catch them. It only is Aston Villa that can catch them. Oh no, wait. Southampton can as well. But I think, performance-wise, it was okay. We conceded, let's be honest, some 2 quite sloppy errors. So that does need to improve. And, you know, it could have been more. But I still think, relatively, there's positives to take from it. And Mateus Pereira just seems to be in form again, in really good form. He played well against Blackpool, and then he's carried that into the Wolves game, carried that against West Ham. If you can play like that against City, you know, maybe we'll get another draw. I mean, we are coming into them with a draw. But that's it. Now let's just go through a bit of news of the last few weeks. Now, we have heard that the Fulham game will be on BBC, and the Sheffield United game will be on BT Sport, in case you didn't know. Now, before the West Ham game, we heard a bit of a controversy that Snodgrass wasn't going to play against them due to a gentleman's agreement. Something I don't like. I think when you sign a player, you should be able to play him in any game. And I know West Ham would not have let us have him for the Wolves game. But I suppose, you know, we might not beat some Wolves if it wasn't for Snodgrass, so I'm still not that disappointed. But the Premier League had a look into it, and today we've learnt, yeah, nothing's going to come of it. You know, they're not going to charge us or anything. But I don't see why, because I thought you could put anything in a contract. Like isn't saying you can't play against a side just about as, like, dodgy, I suppose you could use the words, as saying, yeah, we can sell him for any club, but you can buy him back for 40 million. Like, I think that happened with Iheanacho when he went to Leicester, and I think it was 40 million. I don't really see a big difference between that. That's basically a buyout clause that only one club can permit. I don't see, if it's a written agreement that he can't play against West Ham, I don't really see that as a big, loss. Unless we stay up this year, and, oh, well, I don't see that as a big deal. It'll be annoying if we stay up this year, and on the last day, we have to play West Ham, and Snodgrass is in unbelievable form, and we can't play him against them to stay up in the division. But I think that's thinking a bit far ahead. That's not even just thinking to next season if we'll be in the Prem. That's assuming we'll be in the Prem and we'll have West Ham on the final day and be in a relegation scrap, and Snodgrass will be in fine form. But I think I'm glad that nothing came of it, and I really, really would understand if they did that, in my opinion. In other news, not really one for everybody, but for FIFA fans, Callum Morton has received a face scan. Now, a bit of other news is that I think we will not be getting, there's a good chance West Brom will not be getting any face scans this year, mainly due to the whole, pandemic. I don't know if it's for sure. It is interesting that Callum Morton, Alex Palmer and Pereira have received faces, but they could be from, previous spells at Nürnberg or Sporting Lisbon. Or I think EA have been scanning the Bundesliga, so that could be it. Palmer, I think I do remember Palmer having a face scan, because I remember, I think I remember them taking Palmer's face scan out of it and thinking, hang on, the player used to look a lot more like Palmer. I don't remember Morton having one, ever. Anyway, who knows? We don't know yet. Moving on to another thing, in that it looks like Raheem Harper will be going on loan to Birmingham City. Of course, former West Bromwich Albion youngster Jonathan Lecco at Birmingham City. I don't think there's any other ex-West Brom players there. I think this will be really good for him. Hopefully he gets some game time. Harper's a very talented player, but I hate to see a good young player just sit on the bench, or if that. So my policy, what I like to see us do, is basically to loan the youngsters out, because it's much better for the youngster to be playing. You don't want to damage their career. Other news that we are hearing reports that Galatasaray striker, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Diagne, the Galatasaray striker, he's going to be he could be coming in on a loan from Galatasaray. He's a good striker, but players from the Turkish league don't often do well in the Premier League. I can't think of any players that have flopped or done well off the top of my head. Not really any. We've heard like reliable news sources such as Joseph Massey say that he is a target. We've not really heard many very reliable sources say he's edging closer. But if they are, but the original source didn't come from one of our reliable sources. Your Nixons, John Percy, Joseph Massey, just the Express and Star in general often are quite reliable. We've not really heard those sources. We didn't hear those sources say it. So it will be interesting if Diagne comes and how well he will do. Another player, I'm probably going to butcher a name. I'm not very good at pronouncing names, and that's Seferovic. I think it is Seferovic. He's a Benfica striker from Serbia. I think 6'2". And today we've heard that he is another target, but we've also heard Allardyce has said that we're not close to any signings. So, don't think we're going to get any signings. Sounds like we're not going to get any signings in the next few weeks. Of course, we've heard reports that Chowdhury is a target. It'll be an interesting last few weeks, because these signings that we bring in could really determine the short-term, not short-term, long-term. Of course, they'll affect the short term, but they could really affect where the club's going to be in 5 years. If we stay up, we might get a good takeover. We might get We might not be we probably won't be the next City, but we might be the next, I don't know, Southampton. Or wanting to be the next Southampton. No disrespect to Southampton. But actually, you know what? I'd love to be a club like Southampton. Have a manager, no disrespect to Allardyce, of course, a really, really top-class manager. Some top-class players, you know, and investment. But, you know, we could be someone like Southampton or Aston Villa or Leeds. And in 5 years' time, maybe we'll be challenging for Europe. There's thinking and there's ending up, well, not ending this on a positive note, because we are going to quickly look forward to next Tuesday night. We still haven't won on a Tuesday night, despite a take versus West Ham. We have got Manchester City, which will be a lot tougher game, but we did get a draw against them away at the Etihad. This one will, of course, be at the Hawthorns. Now, Manchester City are coming into this as, of course, the form side in the league. Excellent. They have won the last They've won their last 5 games, and let's have a look at who those games were against. They were a win versus Chelsea, a win versus Brighton 1-0 at home, a win versus Palace 4-0 at home, a win versus Fulham. That's interesting. I've missed a game out, obviously. But they've won. They've not beaten great sides, but we're not a great side in this division, are we? So I'm gonna go with my prediction of I'm gonna say quite optimistic and only just a 2-0 win for Manchester City. Not Aguero, I don't think he's playing much this season. Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling getting back into goal scoring forms. I don't think he's scored much this season. But anyway, that just about wraps it up. Let me know your predictions for the game against Manchester City. Were you happy with the West Ham performance? Of course, you'll be happy against it. Actually, Sterling's got 5 goals and 3 assists this year, so it's not his best season of recent years, as he scored 20 goals, 17 goals, and 18 goals. But he's not in terrible form. I would, of course, take Raheem Sterling. I think he'd just about make our bench, probably below Carl Edwards and Kamil Grosicki. Haha, I'm joking, of course. Anyway, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful week. Hopefully, we beat the Sky Blues on Tuesday night. See you in the next one. Goodbye.